Right, hello everybody and welcome to round 5. I am back and I'm so sorry for missing last week. I wouldn't miss it for anything other than an absolute emergency. My wife needed me but I'm here, I'm back. And we're not leaving you empty-handed. Retro, who saved my bacon last week, is here as well. Nice to have you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. I mean, any comments or complaints from last week's poor camera skills was directed towards you. I don't know if you got any, but we're back for another round of Sprint Sunday, so hopefully your camera skills aren't as rusty as mine. But so we're just going to go over the standings just whilst we've got just under 8 minutes left of this free practice. Now, we saw Moller not return last week for Bathurst. I don't see Moller in the standings tonight, so again that's going to give Bonham a good run, but we do see the return of Leica in the very bright pink Aston Martin this week. So just to go over the standings for the Pro tier, for all you guys watching at home, the left hand side, the all white boxes are the Pro division. So Bonham is currently leading the championship with 80 points. Sharp in P2 with 75 points. Morgan Grace in third with 73 points. Kravek in fourth with 62. Tied with Gordon Brown with P5, 62 points as well. Josh Clayton, 61 points. Filomeno also in P7, 57 points. Andrew Eden, 49 points, and Leica down in P9 with 22 points. He's missed a couple of races, so he's definitely got some ground to make up if he wants to make an impact in the championship. But I believe last week as well, I think it was the silver tier or the pro-am tier, there was a three-way tie in some of the points. It definitely got a bit hairy and a bit spicy in some of the lower divisions. So moving to the silver tier, as you can see on the left hand side, you've got these slightly darker greyed out boxes on the left hand side there. So just to point a few out, you've got S Grafe in the Nissan GTR, M Molnix in the Ferrari, Van der Waal in the McLaren, so just a few just to name there in the darker grey boxes. But you've got the man himself, the man who loves a wicket for cricket, Mr. Naisbitt, leading the silver tier with 78 points at the minute. You've got Mr. Michael Molnix in P2, who is tied with P3 with Samuel Grafe. Lee Colpitts in P4, 68 points. Luke Richings in P5, 61 points. Carlos de Jackal, P6, 60 points. Chris Gedman, Mr. Barrier Inspector and Supervisor in P7, 55 points. Antonis Korkamalakis, P8, 54 points. Mr. Michael van der Waal, P9, 49 points. I'm probably going to butcher this. Alexander Kalugin, P10, 40 points. Javier Sierra, P11, 15 points. Wouter Heymans, P12, 7 points. You got James Robertson down in P13, minus 10 points, but I think he's missed a few races, hence why. So now moving on to the final tier, guys, the AM tier. As you can see on the boxes, the red coloured boxes on the left hand side there. So leading the championship for the AM tier is Mr. Serpentine, Mr. Smooth with 81 points there. P2, Serafino Jabino in P2, 77 points. Dazza Townsend, P3, 72 points. Michael Coppins, P4, 63 points. Paul Trotman in P5, 46 points. P6, Francisco Rodriguez in his very lovely styled Mustang, 32 points. You've got Jude SC in P7 with 21 points, and Brooklyn Llewellyn in P8 with 0 points, with a couple of did not starts and a DNF, so unfortunately he's on 0 points there.
Thank you for that, buddy. I've been thinking myself as well, and it's been picked up in the chat. If you don't mind just checking on your mic, you were just breaking up a little bit there throughout that.
It probably would help if it was anywhere near my face, so that's all well and good. I'm not doing that again, ladies and gentlemen, because I feel like I need a drink after that.
No, it was wonderful. So we are just a few minutes out from qualifying now. Retro's going to make sure everything's all plugged in, so you get nice, crisp, clear comms from both sides of the commentary box. And yeah, we're going to get firing down to qualifying. For those of you who are not familiar with our Super Sprint Sunday, maybe you're tuning in for the first time, been recommended this by a friend. We do a short qualifying of 20 minutes where all of our lovely drivers in all three tiers go riding around the track for the fastest time. And then we go into a 20-minute sprint race with no requirements to pit for fuel or tyres. And then with a short break afterwards of only a few minutes, we go into a 40-minute sprint, also with the same requirements of no pitting for tyres or fuel. So there's no need to go anywhere at all for your Sunday evening. We have got you covered for all the action. And if you need any more action providing for you, FRL is the place to be. This channel will cover you for ACC, as you can see here, Assetto Corsa, iRacing, GT7, Formula 1 2024, some WRC, our good friend Mr. Gedman does enjoy. And yeah, anything else online that can be driven with four wheels and it can be raced in multiplayer, we have got you covered. FRL, you just need to drop some interest into the comments, and I'm sure an administrator will catch up with you, send you a link to the Discord, a sim grid sign up if necessary, and then yeah, we'll get you racing ASAP. And if you're already here as part of the community in FRL, you can sign up for the Patreon. Price to start at just £3 a month, and that will get you specialist access and early access for special events, league sign-ups, and if you hold your driver number very sacred, you can get early access and priority pickings for that as well. All goes towards the running of this league, helps us fly the helicopter when we need it at certain tracks, and yeah, keeps you with all your lovely comms as we fly around a lovely sunny place like this in COTA. But it looks like most of the drivers are essentially coming into the pits now. We've just been hovering over while we give you the rundown. We pick up Richings in his green and multicoloured Ferrari. We'll see how he does coming through the sectors, just through the final stages of practice here now. But yeah, I watched most of the race last week while I was on family duty. You might have seen me drop into the comments in support for a few others and for Retro himself. So I'm reasonably clued up, but obviously Retro was your man on the ground, keeping you all engaged, and obviously we're back in normal service this week. So yeah, we're coming towards the sort of halfway point in the season now, and it's all getting very, very spicy. And it's very much anybody's game. Big points can be won in any one of the divisions here, which can really swing the championship very, very quickly. Negative results can be wiped with a drop round. So you can really be quite fortunate if you're willing to risk it for a round or two. You won't be punished too harshly in the standings. But thankfully this evening you're not going to have to listen to me or Retro potentially butcher some corner names, because the Circuit of the Americas has chosen not to name a single one of their corners. Yes, a nice, neat 1 to 20, but we are going to try and call those correctly as they come around as well.
I mean, after all those years of commentating and racing with everybody, I mean, that cheat book has seen some better days, let's be real. The fact you've got some hardened veteran corners in that book, unfortunately a track like Circuit of the Americas doesn't need it.
No. What do the Yankees need? Just slapping down some tarmac in the middle of a desert, eh? What was
I mean, I'm surprised this track's got more than just left and right turns, unlike NASCAR.
I mean, the first sector, they openly admitted took inspiration from the middle sector of Silverstone.
Yeah, there's quite a few good little sneaky sneaks that they've done on this track. Like say you've got the part from Silverstone, Maggots and Beckett's, and then you've also got like the Senna S style sector on this track as well. So there's a lot of inspiration from certain tracks that does make the Circuit of Americas the Circuit of Americas.
So yeah, very unique spot. Slaps in the middle of Texas. But as the sun goes low, we're going to try and pick out the first driver out onto track, and I believe that's car number 34. So we're going to go straight to them. Who are you?
That is Mr. Bonham, leader of the Pro Tier.
And out he goes in his green leaf McLaren. Man who has been challenging for many a pole, is leading the championship. It was very much like Max Verstappen at the start of his 2022 championship. It was kind of Moller, like Verstappen, won every race that he started or every race that he finished, but didn't turn up for everything in the early part of the season. So Bonham, like Leclerc did that season, has taken an early lead. But he still fears for Moller when he turns up. So as you can see,
the thing about Bonham though, sorry to interrupt you there, buddy,
no.
There's too much mind games, I think, from Bonham. Has probably put Moller in a bit of rest. He needs it to come back fighting strong if he wants to avoid the mind games from Bonham.
Absolutely. Retro, you're still cracking up a little bit. Is there any chance you could maybe, can you have a wire handy, could you plug in your mic? I think it might.
I can try to turn it on and off again. I mean, I've never had a problem.
We're used to you being a little bit more crisp. We're just set up for you guys whilst we've still got time for the first lap to start. And obviously, guys, if I hear me breaking up at all when it's maybe my fault, do let me know as well. I'm not claiming 100% innocence.
Testing, is this better?
We'll see how it goes. so a friend of ours, Mike, is dropping into the chat. I'm not sure if you consider that support for Kyle. Mr. Revel is looking to see him bin it into a wall. But Bonham is going to attempt to kiss the first apex of Circuit Americas and this very flat turn 2 as he's going to enter the S's. So just like Maggots and Beckett's and Silverstone, you're dropping down to the gears, you're trying to maintain speed as he flies towards our stationary camera and rounds it slowly around turn 6, then up the hill into turn 8. And then this has to be quite careful here. Pin the car to the right, flick it to the left, and then finally get the power down. Don't unset yourself with the curb on the outside. Kiss the apex on the inside. Now straight line braking into this hairpin. It's much, much tighter than you think. Try to avoid any step out on the exit. Little bit of a risk now, but he's kept it under control. Puts the power down. No need to think about anything else other than keeping that foot flat to the floor as he goes down towards what's going to be a very crucial turn 12. This is where most of the overtaking is going to be done. Whilst this straight isn't exactly straight, it's going to be treated like it when the cars start flying around in competition. Braking all the way down to first or second gear. Let the car run out wide. You've got plenty of time to turn it over to the left. Unsettle the car a little bit. You can pivot the rear to turn the car in to your right. Kiss that corner. Avoid the second apex. Straight line it to the outside and then roll the car in. Avoid those sausage curves on the outside. Get as far as wide as possible because you want to keep this as flat as possible. Most cars can't achieve it unless they've got a very high downforce set upon it. Bonham did seem to keep revs quite high there. Now, very easy to invalidate as he enters turn 19. But he does it beautifully all over the rumple. Stays on the curbing. Sorts his braking, get maximum traction at the final turn. And he's going to start this session off with a 2:06. That's very good. With Naismith coming in shortly behind with 1.55 seconds down. Now who's our next guy coming towards the line? I believe that will be... Oh, we've got a few more. So, Surfontaine has been doing very well in the AM tier recently. He's put himself P2 for the time being. Imagine that is going to get filled because that's a 1.5 second gap. Still sat around there. So I've just jumped on board with Kravek, who's just going through the middle sector now as he really starts to slow down, be itching to get back on the power. And down the hill he goes. Kravek, who was a very, very strong contender last season. Just watching the cars come out of turn 11 retro, the hairpin onto the straight. There's so much fight to stay with traction.
It's definitely a tricky one there, buddy. So just trying to fix my headset just momentarily. I think we forgot to mention as well, obviously Circuit of the Americas is the home soil of Bonham, so he's going to be wanting to itch to get a win on his home surf or his home turf tonight.
Absolutely. So home field advantage even online is a thing. At least we believe it. Oh, as Kravik goes a little bit deep out of turn 15, but you can gain a lot of time back through the 3 parts right-hander, similar to Turkey, but Turkey's a left. As he doesn't quite ride the curb as heavily as Bonham did. Powers out of the final turn. And where does this put Kravek? Oh, very close. P2, but still a second down. That's quite...
Jump by Surfontaine straight away.
Wow. Track must be ramping up. Other drivers we've got coming to the final sector 113.
So guys, there is no splits here qualifying. All the drivers are out in all as one, fighting and itching for that track space and that track area to get the magic done.
That's Llewellyn, my apologies. Jen just found him.
Yeah, up into P3.
The man with the pings it in P3.
So 5 thousandths of a second behind his championship rival at the minute.
Mr. Smooth Molnix. What can he do? Comes to the line. Is P4. Got car number 37.
Yeah, 37 is Mr. Sharp in the McLaren, or the Ferrari as he normally likes to call it, because he doesn't like the Ferrari that well.
And he goes P1. Wow, 0.3 of a second almost over Bonham.
Car 74 Cole Pitts across the line there. P10 car 884. I think just settled that Eden into P9 there.
Just picking up Clayton in the Aston Martin. This car, which since an update has become an absolute powerhouse on a straight. Arguably the fastest straight line car in the game right now. And he's going to power towards the line. What can he do? Clayton goes P8, clearly struggling in the middle sectors. Car 34. This is Bonham again, coming around the final turn. Looks very, very composed. He's got a bit of a slipstream up ahead of him. Retakes the lead by 0.3.
So there's a great little argy-bargy there. So Kalugan, G Brown and Eden set P9. G Brown then pushed him down. Kalugan then pushed Brown down. So there's definitely a bit of argy-bargy there in the silver and the pro tier there.
Kravek's just rounded out the top 3 for pro with a time of 1.1 seconds down. Also coming to the final sector, car number 14, M Grace.
Mr. Revel P3 there. So just 0.2 nearly quicker than Mr. Kravek's time.
So Grace, first time he's setting a lap. No time set. Other drivers come through. Car 444.
It's Korkamalakis in the Porsche.
Is that a fresh design for Mr. Kukumarakis?
I don't believe so. I think it's just he probably might have washed it, given the shine back to it. He must have heard all our lovely comments about Gedman's tennis ball yellow Porsche, and he wants to take the same leaf out of the book.
Well, it looks like... Oh, he's put himself P18. It looks like if he was ever to get himself stuck in a gravel trap, that's the sand line.
So we do have Cole Pitts just rounding the final corner now. He's in P14. Can he improve? Yes, he can. P8. Great improvement there. Car 884. Eden now. Great improvement. Knocks Cole Pitts
P7.
down to P9.
Others coming around. We've got Clayton again in the Aston Martin.
Little bit of improvement there, I think.
Oh, just seems to...
the exact same time as Naisbet, so he needs an improvement.
Yeah, it just seemed like he struggled to get on the revs out of the final corner there. If you just listen to the accelerator, that car number 79 of Gedman having a bit of a battle with the GTR behind him. Qualifying is not a time to battle. Who's that behind him?
You should know this. Set the example.
It's car number 77. That's Grafe, who's following him through. It's not a section of the track to really pick up a slipstream. Gedman taking much wider lines with that Bentley barge. He has to use an oar to direct that thing. Gedman nowhere near the apex.
Over the back there.
And Gedman just jumping Kukumalakis. Number 71, that's Van der Waal, who we're keeping well away from Marshalls. Maybe had a negative relationship with Paw Patrol as a kid.
Oh dear. So we do have Sharp now coming into the final corner. He needs 3/10 to take any fight to Bonham. What can he do? Oh, he does, but not quite enough.
And I've just picked up Sargent, who's currently down P23, jumps all the way up to P13, and he's no Logan Sargent, he's Jay Sargent. 334, that's Kalugin. Who looks like they're driving a baby's room colour chart of a Porsche. Got Clayton coming around again in the Aston at the final turn. Doesn't seem to be improving. Car number
32 now coming round.
Yeah, Filomeno
right down the bottom. Not set a lap yet.
Stolen my driver number.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, that's probably the highest that number's ever going to get.
Oh! Oof.
Oh, he does set a lap, but not quite on the pace just yet.
Car
104. Richings now.
The Richings we usually expected to be a little bit higher than this. Usually, well, around Brown and Jabinho.
Townsend in the AMS here, just behind him as well, so I'll stay on Townsend just whilst you're on Richings, just to see the improvement.
Yeah, Richings just finishes, goes P18.
And Townsend stays P20. Car 999 coming
That's
out.
Sierra.
Sierra.
And does he improve? He does to P18. Undoes everything that Richings just did.
Car 37 coming back round again.
That's Sharp.
Can he make it or break it on this last corner?
So some of the pro drivers really electing to hold that curb on the outside, Retro, if you've seen.
Yeah, I mean the curbs are killer.
Oh, he gets so close, but not quite close enough. Still half a tenth down on Bonham. Here comes Clayton again with a bit of traffic as he comes through the final sector. rounds 16, 17 and 18, the triple right-hander. Oh, as he gets heavy on the curb of 18. How much speed does he dare carry? Widens the turn in, clips the apex wonderfully. Revs sound much better that time. What can he do towards the line? It's P12.
He switches places with Naisbitt. They were exactly bang on time together. He's just now split the two. Speaking of splitting the two, we got Mr. G Brown coming round in that very interesting style Bentley barge.
Ooh. I tell you, you'd lose him in an autumn forest, wouldn't you?
I mean, I was going to say it, but I mean, wouldn't having a guess.
And there we are, G Brown going P9.
Oh, I thought of it on the fly. I thought it was funny. I do apologise, guys. I mean, that's what the Patreon's for, just to hire you guys some better commentators that don't have bad jokes like me.
And we've got Naisbitt in the Sky McLaren, just coming around the final few corners. Car 113 behind looks like they've had a bit of an issue. Powers towards the line. Naisbitt currently P14, jumps to P8.
P8, great improvement.
34.
This is Bonham.
Oh, as I think I've just caught Kravitz going wide at the penultimate corner. Question is, did he keep it on the edge of the curb there? He did, and he's gone P5.
The closest driver is Mr. Grace. Now round in the final corner in that lovely purple Porsche there. Currently P10,
P7.
Jumps to P7.
We've got Clayton once again. Clayton, who's stayed, not really made quite as much improvement around the track as everybody else did, but it does look like the sun's going down. It looks like temperature is falling out of the track. Oh, he drifts a little bit wide, takes a little bit longer to get on the power. I don't think this will be an improvement. No.
Well, once again, closest driver is Mr. G Brown.
He's got a little bit of traffic ahead. That's Kukumlakis just heading him off. Maybe he'll get a good drive and some slipstream at the final corner. Goes towards the line. Jumps to P9. Well done, G Brown. Car 215.
Is Serpentine.
So Serpentine currently 3/10 down from his main competitor of Llewellyn, who's currently in P6, with Serpentine down in P10. 3/10 with a cooling track isn't out of the question. Still very much possible. Serpentine doesn't improve.
You've got car 34, which is Bonham coming round once again.
Now he's going to want to put a bit more daylight between him and Sharp. Him and Sharp kind of in a class of their own at the moment. 7/10 ahead of the rest of the field. Oh, gets on the rumple on the outside with a bit of a slipstream as well, though. No improvements.
Still nothing.
Car 77, that's Grafe in the Nissan. Oh, cuts that time down, comes within 6/10 of the pole. Has Clayton just fueled for the entire session? I've probably come back to him more than any other driver.
You probably might be right there, buddy. So some drivers do like to do that, just to fuel a lot for the session, just to get the tyres to best temperature, rather than doing a lap coming in, doing a lap coming in. But speak of the devil, Clayton is now just rounding the final corner. Looks a lot better on the exit of that corner. It's currently P15. Can he improve? No, we can't.
No.
P15 there.
So what his efforts, he really looks like he may be taking a bit out of these tyres.
Now he's in the pits. Closest driver to the line is Colpitts, coming around the triple apex there.
Oh, I think I just saw somebody go wide there. 1/2 second. 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 1/ That was Kokomlakis. Kisses the apex wonderfully at turn 20. Uses that that BMW power. Fire it towards the line. No improvement.
Car 71 now. Mr. Van der Wall.
Is there an improvement? Yes.
Switch with Gedman. Car 242 now. Naisbit.
Oh, what a slide! He's killed it. He's held it. Well done. And he bails out. Oh.
Oof.
Okay.
Car 34.
I think Gedman must have been in his ear and said, "Oh, Naisbit, mate, I've not tested that wall. Do you mind, you know?"
Yeah, I mean, do you like take a leg before wicket kind of thing? I mean, I did hear in a separate channel on a different server that Naisbit does like a bit of cricket, so pardon for any cricket puns, I mean, we're going to have a lot of fun.
You fielding all them puns, are you?
I am. Batter's choice.
Yeah. As we have Sierra, first one, well, one of the first tick a flag. So Bonham has no longer got the opportunity to improve. I think Sharp has bailed out as well. Car 41 still going around. That's Mulnix.
Yeah, just picked him up going around the triple apex now. Okay, what can you do? Seconds, last corner.
It's heavy on the inside curb.
Nice line through the final corner there. Not too much rumble on the exit. Up
Oh,
to
goes P5. Well done.
Great improvement from him. Car 79. Mr. Gedman.
Oh, I've lost him.
P15. 134. What can Brown do? Not quite enough.
Score 71. That's Vanderwall. With our final driver to come across the line. P19 currently. He expects much more of himself from that. And improves to P17. So there you have it. So your finishing positions are Bonham takes a very tight, very sharp lead for both races. So this is the standings and the words. This will be your grid for both races. So Bonham will lead Sharp into turn 1, first race. That's 1 and 2 for the Pro tier and on the grid. Grave takes a pole for the Silver tier, leading Grace in the Pro. Mulnix second place in the Silver tier in P5. Revel in P6. Kravik in P7. Llewellyn leads off the Am tier from Serpentine, who did get a fair bit closer in the end. He's going to start directly behind him in P10. Brown in P9. Serpentine, as I said, in P10. Naisbit, P3 in his class in P11. Klugin in P12. Colpitts in P13. Eden in the Pro tier down in P14. Gedman in P15. Clayton in P16, who never seemingly improved from his earliest time. Vanderwall, who you watched just come across the line there, P17. Sargent, P18. Jabino, P3 in class, a fair bit down from his competitors ahead, P19. Sierra in P20. Richings, P21. Townsend in P22, not too far away from P3. Kokomlakis, P23. Coppins, P24. Felameno in P25. Then you've got the Jackal and Haymans and Leica, who have not set laps this evening through choice or potential penalty. So don't go anywhere, guys. Once the drivers have gone through the necessary waiting time, adjusted their setups to include fuel, we will be going for 20 minutes of fast and furious racing around the circuit of the Americas. Grab your Stetson, grab your whip, and crack it, ready for the start of this race. So it's quite a bit.
Going to be in for a cracker, especially Sector 1. How many track limits or track warnings are the guys going to accumulate over the two races? Are we going to see any drive-throughs?
I mean, it's highly likely, Retro. I mean, especially for those that are engaging in battles through the trickier parts of the track. The game is not really keen on letting drivers get away with track limits just because they've been involved in a battle. Obviously, a standard race director may forgive them for those discretions, but an online one does not care. They will get penalised if they're not lifting off.
Hang on a minute. You say letting drivers get away with it. Does that not remind you of Paul Ricard?
That's if they get pulled up on track limits. That's if they get pulled up on track limits.
We don't do if, buts, or maybes.
We do absolutes.
I was going to follow up with the next bit, but I don't think stream purposes will be allowed the next bit.
Alright, so going back to the cricket puns, Bonham is going to start this lap being the cork in the bottle. And he's going to try and smack this one out of the park. So maybe 2 corners to navigate. And then I think he'll get the green light whilst there's still going to be drivers going around the final turn, Retro. It's quite a short run to that line.
Yeah, the timing line's quite early for the start straight, which I think will catch a few drivers out. So I think a great bit of leverage for some drivers that do have the advantage to get the power down straight away rather than having to make a corner and then get the full throttle on the go.
I mean, is this a relative risk for Bonham then? Obviously, he's going to be the driver furthest down that straight when he gets to hit the power.
I mean, you got to think about it. He's going to be on the inside for turn 1, so as much as he may think he's down and out because of the timing line, he's then also got control of the pack into turn 1.
It's provided nobody manages to cross him after the green flag. It's very easily done if you can get that move done ahead. If you can make a clean move across, you can claim the inside very quickly. I mean, it's just a corner where it just looks like you can just go tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. Almost doesn't look there's a limit to how tight you can take that corner.
No, that's what catches a lot of people out, and that's what gives us commentators the absolute cracking action on the comms for you guys at home, watching on the big screen, on your phones. So whilst you're at it, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell someone you hate, tell someone you love. So the stream and the server, the FRL, the Formula Racing League is where it's at, guys.
30 seconds.
So 30 seconds from race control. You see a few cars bopping up and down, adjusting their setups for one final time
20 seconds.
to get the green light before we start racing for the sprint of race 1. 20-minute race, shortly followed by a 40-minute race.
10 seconds.
So when race 1 has finished, guys, do not go anywhere. We will be straight back in the action, cooking on the gas, smoking some Texas barbecue for race 2.
Absolutely. So as we approach, we can start hearing cars revving up, and Bonham is going to lead them away. We're going to stay on board with solely Bonham, at least until Sector 1 is completed. For those who aren't familiar with ACC, it's very difficult to move around the drivers as they get updated through Sector 1. So Bonham, who's going to be pushing to be on the absolute edge of his positioning block, as he's already stretching the pack. And we are... Oh, do they get to go to the second timing line? Ooh, okay. Not quite as bad for Bonham as we thought. But he's on the marbles, look. And we are green. Off and away he goes. So down towards turn 1. He does seem to have claimed the inside line very, very well. But can he break it in time without somebody going around the outside? It looks like the Nissan of Grafe has managed to get on the inside of Sharp.
Contact there from Sharp and Grafe.
But it does look they've all got through cleanly thus far. Oh no, we do have some yellow flags out at the back. But it does look like Bonham has controlled this pretty well. And that's car 36.
That is Mr. Coppins.
So
But the timeline has now updated, so we're going to have a bit more update on the positions as they change.
So we got Grafe, who originally was super up the inside of Sharp, but now he's having to defend from M. Grace, who's really, really close in the back of him. We've got more action down to the back. That's car number 44 and others spinning out. But it does look like the top two have managed to gap quite nicely. Okay, so we've got the Ferrari of Molnix, who looks like a better drive than Grace. Positioning himself, looks for a move down the inside, he pulls out. Can he make the braking work? No, he can't. But what has Grace done? Has Grace gone deep? No, he's kept that wonderfully. So the pack is so bunched right now. What about Sir Fontaine? He's on the back of G. Brown right now. Oh, he's throwing a line up the inside. Brown defends it. He comes across like he's not there because he can. He was fully ahead. Molnix still liking a look at the back of the Porsche. Is he going to throw on the inside of turn 19? No, thinks better of it. Does this compromise his line? No, he seems to be good on the traction there. But Molnix really looks like he's getting the hurry up on Grace. This Ferrari is fast in a straight line when everything's aced. Will there be a long braking move into turn 1? He goes for it, gets his nose cut off, but survives, fights for another day. But that's invited Revel. To the back of him, he's looking down at his bonnet, he's saying that's green, it's green to go. Driver's staying wonderfully in uniform this far. We've got Llewellyn, black and yellow on black and yellow, trying to chase down Eden. Will there be a move or a setup into turn 11? We're not quite there yet. The top two have just checked out.
We've still got Molnix all over the back of Grace and Revel also on the back of them as well, as they do now come to the overtaking opportunity of the slipstream down his mega long straight. Good to see that there's hopefully no flashbang sun on this straight.
So Revel eases to the inside. Doesn't make anything of it just yet. He didn't know where to position his car for the move. Gone down the grid, we've got Kalugin down on the inside of Sargent. Great move is not done yet though. Sargent of the inside here. Oh, he pushes in wide. Just gets the apex first. Sends Kalugin back out wide. Great respectful racing. That was a big move made by Sargent there. But it looks like Kalugin's coming back. Sargent defends strongly. He's got Gedman just behind him. Gedman seems to have got a better line here.
I think Kalugin was a little bit compromised there. Gedman did capitalise quite a lot.
Kalugin gets nowhere near the apex.
They're always all over the rumble strip. Gedman says thank you very much. I think he just about swipes out the way to avoid him.
And there's moves going on behind as well. And the Aston Martin of Clayton's also coming. Kalugin's going to lose that massively here. Clayton moves the inside, gets his nose ahead, misses the apex. Kalugin ducks back down the inside, taps him out to the curb. How will they make it through the S's? They're still pretty much side by side, but Kalugin has lost out, and now he's got
Sabino behind him.
So I was just waiting for the standings to update.
Don't worry, buddy, I got you covered. I know. We've got Leica also on this as well in that pink and white Aston Martin. Naismith catching on as well.
Well, it looks like it's going to get tasty into turn 11. Up ahead, we've got Clayton. Look like he's going to throw a dive on Gedman. Now, arguably the two fastest cars in a straight on the game. Who wins out in a power of horsepower? down towards turn 12. I did think I saw Clayton get a little bit of a snap coming out the hairpin. Further back, Jabinho getting attacked by Leica. Leica up the inside of Jabinho. Eases him out. Jabinho tries to stick it out the nose. Oh, who was that? Cardamon 215. Who have we lost there? Serfontaine. Oh no, he was right up there in the beginning. But he's really far down now.
They have seen quite a few drivers switching around.
Well, I've just picked up
Jabinho
Mulnix.
is actually pushing Leica around in the triple apex there. He's 500ths of a tenth. Right, a second.
Yeah,
He's
this
go for a move, a little bit of tap there into the final corner. Who's going to be bigger on the brakes? Oh, Jabinho does tap in.
So I've just picked up this battle again. I can see that going on in the background. And that's Sierra just dipping in, is it? No.
No, that's Naisbit that did just sneak through in the McLaren.
But Jabinho, with the great traction of that Lamborghini, did almost find himself back in that battle. Lamborghini's so great through here.
Bonham has checked out completely already. Nearly 4 seconds a gap to P2.
Though this midfield battle is very enthralling, it doesn't look like the Aston Martin of Leica likes the middle section. At least not the snaky bit of it. He'll be happy once it gets to this straight. As I'm just seeing Gedman getting attacked going into turn 11 with Kalugin still in tow.
I mean, there's Clayton in between Gedman and Kalugin.
So breaking into turn 12. All is kosher for now. We go forward to Llewellyn, who's amongst a 4-car battle for... Who's that leading that? Eden in the McLaren.
Oh, just going to actually, buddy, we had a big send from Clayton to try and attack Gedman there. Missed out, big on the brakes. Kalugin slipped through like a little slippery snake. Great move from Kalugin.
Oh, Ben Kalugin's gone deep. That Clayton is going to try and do the duck and under. So now we'll see the Porsche, which is top end limited, I'd say, against arguably the fastest car in the game. He's almost pushing him along. Looks to break down the outside as Clayton.
There's a car stopped on track. Who is that? It's a yellow McLaren there. Eden, I believe.
Yeah, I think he got pushed wide at the first turn, and now he's dropping back. It was.
So he was practically stopped on the track there. Not quite sure. Maybe he stalled the car.
So now he's got Kalugin all over the back of him. Not a battle he wants to be anywhere near to begin with. Clayton is very, very interested still in the back of Kalugin, but we've got bigger battles ahead. We've got Eden. Oh, we've got Kalugin go outside, out of bounds on this side, and now Eden has slipped through. Clayton, sorry, has slipped through.
So just flicking through the pack, we've got Mr. Revel still hanging on to the back of Mulnix for P5.
So it looks like
a little bit of a lag spike from Mulnix there.
Always Kalugin has got another Aston Martin trying around the outside. That is Leica, but he sends him to the curb. And again, that's the McLaren off to the side. There's that Naisbit, I think it was. Oh, we've got the McLaren. So McLaren and Naisbit attacking.
Oh, big contact there, Kalugin and Leica. I mean, Both drivers still facing the right way there.
This midfield battle is getting so stacked all the way from Llewellyn, who's done a great job to separate himself from Jabino, but he's still very much in this fight. Drivers could lose 10 positions very easily here. We've got Revel. It's half a second behind Molnix. He just seems to have dropped off the back of Grace, who was chasing earlier on.
So I think Revel dropped off a little bit as well. It was 2.1/10 to back up to 5. So maybe he just dropped off a little bit, missed his brakes somewhere.
I think I've just caught Eden getting attacked by Naisbitt. Eden went very deep out through the second turn. Naisbitt can't seem to take advantage of it just yet. Jabino, sorry. As I've gone forward to Revel. Revel's already up the inside of Molnix as they enter the straight. He's losing a bit of slipstream as they go down here. He's just back under for the further slipstream. Draws out again. Molnix goes defensively inside. Revel pulls back to the outside. Will he have the braking to go around the outside? Can't seem to get it stuck. Finds his way to the curb. Stays engaged. Oh, as Grace ahead really slams on the anchors. And what does that do for Revel? It's definitely slowed Molnix down. I don't think Revel had a chance to really re-engage back round the outside of Molnix. And now he just drops back a little bit again. So we only have 7 minutes left of this race. And I think they get equal drives out of the final turn there. Both of them picking up slipstream.
But just to mention, guys, as well, there is no reason for a silver tier driver to move up the way of a pro driver. As much as they've got their own tier championship, they do have the overall championship for ultimate bragging rights.
So I just see Kalugin dive it into turn 1, but he's gone a little bit deep, but he seems to have come out unscathed. Naisbitt is interested, but I think he didn't realise the move was coming, so he couldn't prepare himself. Clayton pushes on. He's still chasing Gedman. The powerhouses arguing over P12.
Clayton with a great drive. Oh no, he taps Gedman, puts him in the wall. Did he inspect that wall or not? Gedman is now parked sideways on track, right on the apex.
You can just see his bonnet poking out, giving us a perfect view of that apex. It does seem to have got going again. So Gedman drops quite far back. Oh, I'm just seeing Grace having a bit of a twitch. Each of these drivers, as soon as one of them presents an opportunity, they just seem to be getting a bit scared off. Molnix is going to have a real chance at Grace here. At Grace. Grace doing fantastically well. Put his defensive move in and use the Porsche's superior traction just to see off the move onto any straight. But I don't think he got the best exit there coming out the final turn. Molnix is going to use all that slipstream up. But how brave will he be for a dive to the inside for turn 1? Oh, as Revel just misses the back of Molnix. That was nearly curtains for both. Great avoiding action. As I've just gone right down the field, found Kukumalakis and Richings fighting over P22. Krukomalakis got a great drive, and he's sighting up the inside, pulls back behind Richings. Richings who then goes a little deep. Krukomalakis tries to cut down the inside. Richings with the wider, deeper line. Just sees it off with traction, but coming around turn 2. Richings using all the wider lines just to find the speed and keep ahead of Krukomalakis just for the time being.
I was just going to say, but it's nice to see the battle of the Aston Martins on Leica and Clayton there. Clayton had a great run into turn 1, but say just lost the rear slightly in the S's there. So unfortunately he's dropped a little bit off. We do have our first drive through.
And that is Jabino.
Had to be the Lamborghini, didn't it?
I don't want to hear any more of it. So I'm just catching Eden and we're getting overtaken by Naisbitt down the straight, but it looks like Eden's going to fight this one back. He goes heavy over the curb, maybe try and find a line to cut back on. Oh, as he bounds over the curb, loses the rear and spins. Makes a partial spin, and that allows Jabino through, even though his next trip is only going to be into the pits.
So Mornix, just flicked onto Mornix there. Looked like he got very close to the back of the Porsche there from Grace. Looks like Grace has looked like slightly becoming a cork in the bottle to Mornix. So Revel's dropped off ever so slightly now.
And that is allowing Kravik and Brown to approach even more. This is a great defensive drive from Grace, but I think he'd sooner be running away from this battle rather than fighting it. This flawless driving from Mornix, staying with him. As we just see Heymans overtaking Eden. Strange place to overtake somebody. That was through turn 2, which seemed like a very easy pass.
Jabino has served his drive through. Hopefully it's the only one that he's going to get in tonight's race.
Oh, Retro, we've just had a big crash in the middle sector. Sideways. Who was that? Car 70.
Sargent.
Just got absolutely speared by Leica. But now this battle goes on between the two Aston Martins. They remove Sargent from the equation. I'm sure we'll see that one in the steward's room.
Speaking of steward's room, we've still got a two-way Ferrari chasing down the Porsche. Rebel has caught back up to Mornix after being nearly a second away.
So I think Revel just needed to collect his thoughts after he almost speared Mornix off the track only a couple of laps ago. Had to take avoiding action. Just refound his composure. So as Bonham starts his victory lap, he is 6 seconds clear of any competition. We'll pick him up towards the end of his lap to give him his just deserves. Mornix still eyeing up Grace, but this is a prime opportunity to Revel. If Mornix is willing to take the risks, he might well spill the party and Revel can slip through. We've still got this battle. We've still got the battle going on down below of Klugin and Clayton. Leica has just left Clayton behind that little bit. We go back up towards the top. Revel still chasing these two down. We'll go on board with Mornix. Surely they're just one good exit away from having an opportunity under braking. But it doesn't look like Mornix has had that. Definitely see the carry speed through the corner, but
big deep send on the brakes from Revel there, which has cost him down the straight.
And that's invited Kravik to maybe have a go at him into this braking zone of turn 12. A bit too far back for now. Does he send it?
Go
Oh my
for
god,
it.
Kravik throws it in, and there's a touch.
Oof.
Does Rebel get away cleanly? He does. That's cost him time, but thankfully not position. Kravik has to recover. It was a bit late, day late and $1 short. But we go on board with Bonham, who's only got 2 more corners to navigate. He's kept it clean. He's kept his composure. He's kept building that gap marginally, lap on lap. And that green turns to gold, and he wins race 1, round 5, around COTA. Sharp, who just kept his nose clean, is going to come home with a valuable 2nd place. Grafe, once again, gapping the 3 behind, who finished in formation as they were going. Kravik, funny enough, doesn't lose that position, but may get reported by Revel afterwards. Llewellyn takes an AM win, as does Grafe take a silver win. And Clayton, along with Leica, come home with the Aston Martins.
Just flicking through the pack there, just see G Brown just go across the gravel trap. This is ACC, buddy, not WRC. I don't think Gedman would have inspected that wall.
Oh, Bear to finish in chaos. Jabinho, unfortunately, was having a great race, but too many track limits meant that he's going to finish the race in P24. But all drivers looking like they did finish on the lead lap, so that's a positive, apart from Coppins and Filomeno.
Ooh, who was that?
I think
I just saw Townsend just absolutely rail Serpentine in the back after the
certainly looked like
finish
it.
line.
Obviously, we are not stewards in this league, but we will certainly highlight things to the stewards to have a look at. An alternate view. And whilst we rehydrate, ready for 40 minutes of the following race, we'll ask you to share this with your friends, family, dog, cat, friend or foe. Get FRL names out there. We provide great content, not just from me and Retro, but across many of other racings and with other commentators as well.
And so guys, don't forget also as well, we're not just only a console league, we do have many platforms for PC, all that kind of stuff as well, if that's what you're into. Anything sim racing, anything with 4 wheels, 2 wheels, maybe 1 wheel if that's what you fancy. Different kind of circus, but Formula Racing League is exactly where you have to be. The best of the best, special events, all that kind of good jazz. So guys, the Patreon just starts as little as £3 a month. You can reserve your special race number if it means something to you. Get some of the juicy details behind the background, behind the scenes. Your own special practice server if you do sign up to any of the races that we commentate in. Taco Tuesday, Sprint Sunday, anything like that. You do get your own special server. There's many perks and bragging rights to have once you've signed up to the Patreon. And to listen to us for 2 hours every Sunday. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, buddy?
I don't turn up like last week. That could go.
That's not the point.
But typically nothing goes wrong. If that's the worst that happens, it's a good deal, I'd say.
It's like your meal deal package. You just can't go wrong.
Absolutely. But yeah, if hopefully none of you have gone anywhere, you'll be ready and raring to go for 40 minutes around COTA. But that was quite an enthralling race. Obviously, a few drivers succumbing to a few incidents, but it wouldn't be COTA without that.
It'll be interesting to see how busy and packed the stewarding room will be after tonight's race. Whether we're going to see a few drivers penalised for some actions that they may or may not have been involved in, could have helped, could not have helped, but interesting to see. We'll keep you updated for next week. I say guys, there is another 40-minute sprint race to happen, so don't go anywhere just yet.
But I think there was very much a spear into turn 11, just exiting turn 10. So I'd be highly
talking WWE Edge spear or like Olympic spear?
I'm talking Zinedine Zidane World Cup 06.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. Not a very good spear.
I mean, what a guy. 2006, the man had some kahunas on him. In the same match, he peneked a penalty and headbutted a guy and then retired from
I mean,
international.
that's how far football's come. Like, you could probably do that and probably get away with it back then. Nowadays, they kick a ladybird on the floor and roll around for 10 minutes.
But just coming back to your comment saying one wheel. I don't even think Mario Kart's got anything on one wheel.
I mean, I'm not going to say it, but I mean, my dear old mum, bless her, thought she could beat me at Mario Kart because she drives a car in real life. I mean, there's all different people in the world that think they can be good at Mario Kart, but I mean, it's definitely an interesting thing. But I mean, we race on ACC, so it's definitely a little bit different. Imagine sim racing on Mario Kart, that would be cool.
So I used to, on Mario Kart, always used to go deliberately one lap down against my daughter. So what she didn't seem to realise that the algorithm in the game, basically, once I've gone a lap down, it just gives me all the best stuff. So by the time I come onto the final lap, not that far behind, I've still got all the best stuff to use.
It's not cheating if it gives it to you.
No. But anyway, aside from Mario Kart, as our drivers bop away, to add a bit more fuel into the cars, maybe make a few last minute setup changes. There is no part ferme in ACC. Or at least it's not worked into the server. Not sure if that is a thing that can be worked into the server. It'd be interesting if it was. Can you imagine getting flicked to a wet race and having your tyre pressures set?
That's irrelevant to you because you run a dry setup in the wet anyway.
I changed my PSIs. Maybe up my TC, even though the game is currently resetting your traction control on ABS whenever
if you
come
want to
out of the
technically
pit.
get any loopholes of F1 where they can change the tyre pressures only if they take the wheels off the car. Not looking at any in particular teams.
Yeah. I must say there's not a single one of that team on the grid this evening, so we can't even point and say shame to anybody here.
I mean, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. So Bonham is going to lead them away once again. We are not going to make the same mistake. It is the second timing line that we are looking for to begin this race. Bonham briefly backs them up, confuses everybody. I'm hoping when we get going that my cat, who's sat underneath my legs, doesn't jump up and attack me.
Not speaking of attacking, we had Llewellyn already on the inside. I mean, inside of Kravek already, so he's raring to go for race 2. Interesting strategy.
So Bonham, who's just teetering over the edge of the marbles. And we've got Brown in the background. Right, that's the other Bentley, sorry.
That's Gedman.
It's Gedman.
Setting standards.
Jabino over the marbles. Bonham has made a good start. I'd say arguably even better start than last time, but even better started. Is that Sharp? Sharp is around the outside. Wow.
Well, speaking around the outside, I think we had Kravek get hit in the rear for turn 1 there. Car 888. Leica starting from the pits, I believe.
So that is Sharp around the outside. Went really deep into the corner, just found the traction out there. Saw off Grafe in the Nissan. As all the cars begin.
How race 2 goes, we've got Revel already in front of Mornix. The race 2, can he overtake Grace already?
So yeah, tactically already a win for Revel. Us further behind, we've got, who's that?
Clayton and the Bentley of G Brown. Sorry, the Aston Martin of Clayton.
So that was a big battle for race 1, but it looks like Brown has got a better exit. Looks like Clayton has gone defensive, really defensive. He's taken a very tight inside line, but Brown wants another one. He's got the Ferrari of Surfontaine to his inside. We're going to go 3 wide into turn 12. Looks like Brown is going to edge this one out. But Surfontaine still there on the outside. He's going to become the inside of the next corner. Does he dare keep his nose in? Yes, he does. Sends G Brown out to the outside over the curbing. G Brown is going to keep it. Will his car allow him to keep it to the inside here? Yes, he does. He gets cut off at the apex. And Serpentine has defended that effectively for now. Revel looks a lot more comfortable on the tyres this early stage, while Grace is trying to get his tyres warm. Maybe Revel can mount an attack. Here he goes. That's a great exit from Revel. Just like Grace got a bit on the rumple strips. Revel is basically pushing Grace along. Oh, Grace defends harsh to the inside. Revel moves to the outside. Oh, as Grace just sends him out. And then that has invited Monix back in. Revel flashes. He's not happy with it. Now Monix with a bit more speed going through this section. Will he be able to mount an attack back on Revel? No, they just seem to settle back in place. That Clayton is stuck behind Serpentine. I wonder what happened. Oh, Brown has got past Serpentine. We've missed that one. I do apologise. But now Brown is the cork in the bottle. Oh, as I think someone got pushed wide there. One of the Ferraris. I think that was Kravek. And Kravik is going to try and go around Brown.
Weird Naisbit trying to go fighting with Clayton as well. Clayton looked like he set him up for a switchback, but didn't quite get the drive done straight. But I think Clayton's got the grunt of the Aston Martin.
He's going to throw it. There he goes. Can he stay out of the rear of Brown? Yes, he can. He's still paying respect to Serpentine, but he gets it done.
Himself in front of Naisbit. Naisbit goes deep on the brakes there.
So further behind, we've got Gedman having to see off Sargent and Kravik. Kravik goes deep. Sargent looking to make up for incidents from the last round. As he goes quite deep, and he's got Eden behind him. Oh, cuts off Eden pretty sharply. And then he gets over on the curbing. Eden tries to go around the outside. It's not there. Can Eden throw one into the first turn? He doesn't fancy it. Eden gets a much better drive. He chooses the slipstream rather than the space. But he's also got Van der Waal tucked up on the inside of himself. Van der Waal is going to throw one up the inside of Eden as he's been backed up behind Sargent. Can he get Sargent as well? Sargent goes wide to avoid. Gets his nose tapped. Does Van der Waal.
Gets a better traction out the corner there for Van der Waal.
And now Heymans is on the back of this. Illy attempt to go around the outside of Eden. Eden quite heavy on the curb. Eden goes chasing Van der Waal again.
Kravik and Gedman still going at it.
Gedman goes defensive on the inside. Oh, but Gedman then has to duck out from underneath coal pits, and that sent Kravik through. Gedman too keen to keep the position on the brakes, just loses out. But can the grunt from the Bentley undo his mistake? He's going to try and start braking. Oh no, doesn't get it done. Owen Revel tries to get the inside of Grace there, just flicked to him as they were going through turn 15. Revel has seemed to drop Mornix now. Mornix, who's got Llewellyn all over the back of him. So yeah, I think it's here. This is where Revel needs to really pin his traction. The Porsche is strong, but it's not infallible.
Further down the field, we got Jabino, and I believe that is Richings and Sierra in a little three-way battle towards the back. Townsend also won that as well.
That's Jabino, just flicked to the inside. He's going to try it yet. He's going to get Richings here. But can Richings fight it back to the inside? No, he does. Oh, as there's a touch behind. That's Richings and Heymans just getting all crossed up. And that's invited Sierra into the mix. Townsend even.
Oh, Gedman and who's that? I think that's Eden in the McLaren have come into contact with each other.
Through the S's. And they've dropped almost to the back of the grid now, so not having the best of time, Gedman.
Yes, unfortunately, we got it on the big screen last week on the stream of Gedman getting absolutely torpedoed in the top of the skyline of Bathurst. So maybe the same effect has come to haunt him again.
You'd be an admin now, you just have a massive target on your back. Revel really not giving up with Grace. There's a great defensive display from Grace, showing what you can do if you're just lacking that little bit of pace. Revel really not letting the pressure let up. I call this the Lewis Hamilton approach. Just pressure, pressure, pressure.
Deep there. Second size corner now. Revel does close up. Can the Porsche get the grunt out the corner?
This is about as close as we've seen them. This is diving territory. Revel just to show his nose. Oh, as Eden just cuts him off once again. You can just make decisions so late into that braking zone. And Revel's still oh so close. I think Eden's maybe just Grace, sorry, just starting to sweat this.
All about the mind control. There's a sprint, no pit mandatory. So just coming up to 10 minutes in nearly this race, 30 remain.
But no, this is why we go racing, guys. This is why we don't just sit racing with AI. You're here to go man to man, or woman. Like, we know there are some women out, we female racers out there. We respect you just as much. Play against the other person's mind. What can you fool them into thinking? What pressure can you put on them? Can you make them crack? This is why we do what we do.
Speaking of cracking, we've got Sierra down in P19 trying to go round the outside of Richings. I think Richings does just about pull enough in front. Sierra's now work round the outside.
Oh, as he gets on the sausage on the outside. What does that mean? Is Townsend close enough behind? He's closed up. That's a big mistake that's cost him there. Townsend putting the pressure on, but hasn't got quite the cleaner line as Sierra did there. Sierra seems to have recovered. Now Revel is right here now. He's 2/10 away. Grace just switching. This is absolutely diving territory. Grace goes early to the inside. Revel tries to fight his way around the outside. Space is given, but he just has too much work to do. But now Mulnix, through all this fighting, has found his position exactly where Revel was in race 1. This is such an enthralling battle for P3 in the Pro Tier. does look like Grace does have the beating of Rebel through the Essing section.
I just see Grace and Rebel both have a little snap there, coming around the crest.
Yeah, and Mornix.
One here, all knows Llewellyn. Ooh, big on the brakes there.
All of them compromised in some way other than Grace.
Here comes the slipstream effect down the straight.
3 Ferraris prancing along. Mornix thinks about throwing a dive. So much to think about for all 4 of these drivers. 3 tiers, all fighting for one position. And now Brown is coming into it. Mornix once again showing his nose to Revel. Llewellyn unable to capitalise on Mornix having to pull out there. Llewellyn has now closed up as Mornix has sauntered back. Oh, would have had a great drive there. It wasn't for him getting over the curb. Revel, oh so close once again. Now he's tried the outside line multiple times. Will there be a switch back to the inside, do we think? He's trying the ultra wide line. Can't get it done.
This guy's got a great drive out of it. But also give a nice little slingshot.
This is clearly great defensive work from Grace to sell Revel to the outside every single time so far. As he gets a dreadful turn 6. Yeah, Grace just showing that his car is superior in that section. You say you can have Sector 2 and Sector 3. Sector 1's mine. As Revel overshoots. What will this do for Mornix? Mornix is right up on his rear. Was he prepared to take the exit though?
Mr. Van der Waal. I mean, Marshall's going to go into witness protection. Mr. Van der Waal is the first driver of race 2 to get a drive through.
So Mornix has only been given so many opportunities against Revel now. Oh, that's Llewellyn. Llewellyn went into the back of Mornix, and that instigated that spin. And what has this done for Revel's chances? He is now dropped behind Brown.
He's bleeding here. Clayton is all over the back of him.
That is one beat up Ferrari. Oh, as he sends Clayton over the sausage.
Well.
So yeah, Llewellyn, from our point of view at least, looked like he was responsible for that collision, but it looks like Revel has still maintained P5 at least. Unless my timing screen's still yet to update.
It is, because G.
Brown
through.
So they've all come through there easily okay, but Brown has been the massive benefactor of all of that.
I mean, if Brown wins...
Oh, as Clayton then has to pull out the back of Revel. Lot of speed going into turn 1. Clayton really feeling the incentive now. He's got an ailing Ferrari of Revel, a begruntled Revel in P6. And Mornix scorned by the man who was hit primarily by Llewellyn there, not just on the back, but on the front as well as he went off track. Mornix goes a little deep, doesn't get the exit that Clayton does, but then Clayton gets a bit of a snap on the exit. Now I can't help but notice, Retro, but Sharp is now under a second to Bonham. So we've got a fight for P4 and for P1 as it currently stands.
So just further down the field, buddy, we did have Townsend and Eden go at it just before the start, back straight. So Eden just slightly missing his braking point, does slightly drop off Townsend. So Gedman's also just catching this as well slightly. Serfontaine is also catching the back of Llewellyn.
So Llewellyn, who we strongly believe has probably got a penalty coming his way for the collision at turn 12. Saying that, his front end looks pretty clean.
Must have had some tea cut in the car, buddy, just give it a quick Wi-Fi all down straight.
So Revel doing a very good job of holding this gap to Clayton and starting to reel G Brown back in. Oh, as we go towards the back, we've got Richings on Sierra. Will this be a move into the first turn? Sierra goes defensive. Nothing doing as of yet, but a bit further back. That's Townsend on the inside of Gedman. But Gedman swoops around the outside and takes that position from him like taking candy from a baby.
And he counts if it's good candy. Do have Townsend fighting back. Gedman, track limits there maybe. Capitalises a lot for Gedman's mistake.
Gedman having a torrid time in America. Gedman goes defensive. How much of this compromise him on the straight? Ooh, as Townsend gets a big snap. And behind, Coppens. A bit of pressure from Klugin. Klugin was much further up earlier on. Looks for a move down the inside. This will be big. This will be big. Oh no, just has to really throw the anchors on to get out of that one.
I mean, I did just watch Bonham and Sharp go over the timing line there, and he is just edging forward. There's now 9/10 the gap. You can just about see him in the shot from the helicopter, just behind Bonham.
There's a Grafe there, not far away. It only takes these two to really start engaging in a fight.
So I think it's got to Brown's had a little bit. Revel is now catching Brown quite a lot.
He's put on his green suit, he's gone Hulk, he's got angry. Oh, as Brown gets a bit of a twitch there again.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
Revel carries so much more speed through turn 10. I don't think he wants to throw a move into 11. He just wants to ace this exit. Little bit of a wiggle, but nothing that'll affect his drive against Brown. Brown has to rely on his powertrain now to keep Revel behind. Seems to be serving him well thus far. Very controlled by both. Now just picked up, what was that, Eden on the back of Richings again. Will this be a move into turn 12? So very close, he's going to have to pull out very shortly. There he goes. They're alongside. Can Eden get this one covered off for the exit? He can, great move. That promotes him to P18. But Richings is fighting this back. Tries to go the long way around. Unless Eden makes a mistake through here, this should be quite easily defended.
Sharp's just tenths out that gap back up to 1.2.
Llewellyn trying to chase down Naisbitt. We've got little couplets of battles up and down the grid. Oh, as Llewellyn almost rear ends Naisbitt into turn 1. Everybody wants to be the last of the late breakers today. Always we catch Brown snapping once again through turn 6.
Oh, we're having a big snap there. Can he catch it? Yes, he can. Great save from Revel there.
And he hasn't seemed to lost much to Brown. So he needs to ace this better this time if he wants a chance against that Bentley powertrain. Not too much step out. But I do think the Bentley does have him beat on the straight. All the same though, Brown going a little bit defensive. I've picked up Llewellyn on Naisbitt once again. Llewellyn had incident here before. Can he hold his brakes? Yes, he can. Almost runs into Naisbitt on the exit, but he holds it. Someone we've not spoken too much about, Haymans, seems to be closing on Sargent, down for P14. Cravac and Serfontaine. Quite difficult to tell which one's which from this far out. But the two Ferraris fighting over P11. Serfontaine looks like just ailing just that little bit. And both seem to get away cleanly from the final turn. Clayton doing a great job seeing off Mulnix all this time. Sharp just closing down to a second as well, up at the top. They have put another second on Grafe behind.
Oh, just down the back we've got
Townsend.
Lugan overtaking Townsend.
Townsend throwing it back up the inside. Can't get the braking done. Will Kalugan hold it? He will. But then behind them, Kokovalakis tries to cut around Coppens. Mindset of Conor McGregor down the back here. The fight's a fight. You're doing that.
Oh, number 9.
That's Townsend.
And that is Townsend, yeah.
We've just picked up through the S's. Gedman, who's now the next battle for Richings. Much better drive through there, but Kalugan has also got a good run. Arguably the best run of the three.
So Revel is now a lot closer to Brown in this triple apex, who does kind of edge himself out to get a better line. Clayton is catching slightly as well.
Oh, as Revel takes a bit too much inside curb, that's compromised him against Clayton. Clayton, who's got all the speed in the world. And there's a nose thrown. Oh, Revel cuts him off. I do wonder if it's just the angled way of viewing that from that makes it look more severe.
Oh, definitely. 100%. But for all you guys at home, the fastest lap at the moment is obviously held by Bonham, is a 206.4.
I've gone back down to Haymans, who's chasing down Sargent. Ferrari versus BMW. It's so great to see cars going through there because obviously you're relying on the driver ahead of you, not just being tentative on the brakes. So you could do those S's so much slower to secure, make sure you get round them effectively without track limits. But these guys are pushing and pushing and pushing. So great to watch cars synchronised on the edge.
Yeah, so speaking of synchronised, we do have a nice little four-way battle. Kalugan, Gedman. We've got Richards just a little bit in front. Coppins is just catching the back of it. Korkalakis as well.
So Kalugan looks like he's going to throw one round the outside of Richings. Looks for the cut back onto the straight. He gets it. Wow, what a drive. But now Richings should get the benefit of the wider line. He doesn't. He's going to have to pick up the slipstream and hope for the best because Gedman is coming.
Through behind.
Looks like Gedman's going to have a little bit of a look, but Kalugan's going to cover this one to the inside. Gedman doesn't fancy having his nose clipped this late stage.
The Sergeant Heyman's going up right at it now. So around triple apex of there. Cameron made it look a lot closer than what they were practically side by side for the apex there.
I've picked up Kravek and Serfontaine going into the first turn. Kravek has to escape out from underneath the back of Serfontaine.
Rebels just slightly dropped off Brown a little bit. Let's say sector 1 is where we've seen Brown get a little bit unfortunate with traction on his car there. Looks like Rebels going to try and catch up a little bit there. Ooh, who was that?
215.
Get plough into the wall. Not quite sure.
I think he's given up. How unfortunate. The Serfontaine bows out. It's just such a shame. He was running P2 in class. So Revel really fluctuating with his gap to Brown here. He's just suffering on the straights, it seems. But this is an area he can be strong with the fast corners.
We've got Sierra and Jabino fighting for P15.
Oh, and Rebel's thrown one on the inside for the final two. What a move! Late braking. Brown did not see that coming. Now Rebel has to fight for his life here. He's going to move to the inside, try and cover that off. Brown gets forced to the outside. Will he have the turning power to get a move around the outside of Rebel here? Looks like Rebel's got this one covered off, but Brown's going to duck down to the inside. Rebel's going to have the opportunity. He taps him coming into turn 2. Is a shout. Brown is still coming for him, but now he's going to have to accept
defeat for the time being.
Yeah. Now the real test is if Revel can keep Brown behind when it comes to the fast straight. He's got two absolute powerhouses behind him now, but that was a fantastic move. Really well thought out. Further down the field, Heymans and Sargent still battling out for P12. Looks like Llewellyn has very much got the Antir win in the bag. His closest competition, Jabinho, with a drive-through. And Serfontaine retiring.
An outload depending on how much the stewards obviously review the incident. Just remember that, buddy.
Oh yeah. It was a pretty big hit to take 2 cars out. But going on to Clayton, who just avoided the rear of Brown. So this is the battle that's on now. I think Revel in clear air will begin to leave these 2 behind.
Sharp is back down to 8/10 to Bonham.
So could we, in the final station, we've covered most of the grid towards the top. Could we have a fight for the lead as this closes out? 8 minutes remaining. Sharp is looking quite confident in his abilities here. But Bonham in that McLaren just seems to be stronger in this first sector. And I think these final few laps are going to get pretty spicy. We go back on board with Sargent, who's trying to put his Beamer ahead of Colpitts. They just edge through here. Just no drama. Don't mess it up now. Oh, did we lose somebody? Drop it in the S's? Thought I saw a car sideways.
Yeah, I did see a little bit of fluctuation on the leaderboard there.
And Heymans, who doesn't want the P11 to be an all Ferrari party, is closing in.
I've just seen Sharp go 3/10 behind Bonham. Has the mind game started, or has Bonham made a move, or has Sharp put the absolute lead in that boot?
So I was just staying on board with Heymans while he made an absolute dive on Sargent. But this is as close as we're going to get to a battle for the lead so far. Bonham checked out in race 1, but Sharp has played the long game. Maybe he's looked after his tyres. Is there a fight to be had? Ferrari versus McLaren, the oldest of rivalries in motorsport. Sharp just weaving for temperature, it seems. Gives up a little bit of time for whatever car maintenance he was looking to do. And the fight goes on. As Revel made a mistake, he was over a second up, and Brown has caught back up momentarily, just a quarter of a second. Revel just needs to protect this. I don't think he's really got a chance to catch Grace ahead. Sharp has got a drive-through. Promotion for everybody behind.
Oh,
pushed it too hard.
It's unfortunate for Sharp.
And that promotes Revel, if he's not already aware, into a podium position. That is such a shame. We were really hoping for a final lap finale. But track limits are a pain around here. But it's the price you pay for pushing too hard. Heymans really pushed on Colpitts now. He took Sargent in a very, very fashionable manner. As Colpitts been looking in his mirrors, is he going to spot the same move coming? Heymans looks like he's lining it up. And he's made it! He's made it! So he's at the inside, but gets a very slow exit. Colpitts is going to put the power down and come back at him.
Not a car I'd want behind me down a straight, especially the BMW. I'm going to switch to the inside.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a formality taking this one back. It was a great move initially from Heymans, but I think he's going to have this one covered off. First the apex, first the inside, and round he goes. Try again next lap, Heymans. Brown has been oh so close to Revel on this lap. We've just seen underneath a 10th. As Revel just pushed too hard and damaged his tyres in these battles.
Could be scenes if Brown gets on the podium. I mean, if Brown gets on the podium, is he going to force us to play WRC?
Oh, can you imagine? Mandatory week on WRC. But here he goes. He's to the outside of Revel. The defending of the inside has proven very effective so far this evening. Revel doesn't let Brown have an immediate run at the inside, but I think he's done too much. Brown is back up the inside. Revel's planned for turn 3 to be back ahead, and for the S's, yeah, he's done well. He's planned that out very, very well. Had us all worried for a moment. And further back, Colpitts, Heyman, Sargent, Kravec creating a right gaggle. And Heyman has got the second BMW. We didn't see it, do apologise. But it's great work to come through both those powerhouses. Here comes Brown again. He's got power. I'm not sure how much Revel can do against this if Brown throws one. Revel defends at the latest moment possible. Brown tries to tuck back under. Nothing doing there. The Ferrari is just that little bit more nimble. As we approach the final laps.
Bonham coming around the final corner. I believe that is going to be final lap from Race Director. Sharp dives into service drive through. Where is that going to put him? Has he done enough?
I think it's going to drop him down to at least P12, P13.
Towards the end of the pit. Oh, it's unfortunate for Sharp.
As you know, he's going to come out before P9. P8, yeah, P9 should come out at. He's out of car 113, so he'll be P9. That promotes Grafe in the silver tier to P1 in his class and P2 in the race. Bonham finally putting he's got the hammer down already over Grafe. That gap has just been filled in with a bit of a void. Now, can we expect so many crazy moves from Brown here? Oh, Brown now gets a drive through.
Oh,
all in vain.
I think I caught that on the stream as well. That was the softest track limit I've ever seen.
And he's going to get the penalty as well, unless his pit box is before the line, which I don't think it will be. We've got some blue flags up ahead. Brown's sending it. Revel cuts him off for good measure. But we're going on board with Bonham, who's dominated both races, never really let up. He had a small challenge from Sharp towards the end there, but he couldn't hold his bottle on between the white lines. And Bonham comes home for a double win round COTA. Great job. Grafe in the silver tier, left the rest of his competition for dead. Wins the silver tier. Grace is another calm, collected race, comes home in P3. Revel, who's very much been in the wars today, but comes home for a well-deserved P4. And Brown elects not to attempt to serve his penalty. And Clayton, super well done holding off Mulnix. And Llewellyn will take the win on track for the AM tier, but I suspect will take a penalty which could potentially drop him behind Gibino. Naisbitt cruises over the line. Heymans does fantastically well to overtake both those BMWs and comes home to finish that one ahead. And then Colpitts, Eden, Gibino, obviously with that drive through, couldn't mount a on-track challenge to Llewellyn. We've got Sierra coming through, Klugin and Gedman, who's had a torrid time this evening. And then Coppens, who's doing a Lance Stroll. He's got all sorts of damage to the front of that car. And Van der Waal, we'll find out from the ringside referees if he's knocked anybody out this evening.
Well, we are in America. They do have some great boxing venues over there, so maybe he's practicing after tonight's race.
And Townsend, who's involved in so many great battles, just comes home, unfortunately, a bit forlorn. And Filomeno, a great job to make sure all cars finish race apart from Surf and Taylor, I believe, retired earlier on. And yeah, so Brown has been issued a 30-second penalty for his drive-through that he didn't serve at the end there. So I think the classifications will correct his position in just a moment. Yeah, it drops Brown down to P14. All said and done. So there you have it, everybody. So your race 2. So your Am tier won by Llewellyn. We need quite a significant penalty to take him from the win there. Your Silver tier won by Grafe by quite a significant margin. By Mulnix, Naisbitt, Heyman, Sargent, Colpitts, Sierra, Klugin, Gedman, Richings, Kukulakis, Van der Waal, and the Jackal, who I don't believe competed towards the end there. And then your Pro tier won by Bonham, with Grace and Revel filling out the podium. So now's the time, Retro, for our drivers of the day. I think for the Pro tier, I think it's hard to give it to anybody else other than Revel, to be honest.
Yeah, he done fantastically well. He was in the wars, so trying to keep up with Grace for an on-track podium before obviously penalties and drive-throughs happened. But he done well to keep his head down. I know before the race he wasn't particularly looking forward to tonight. He was struggling a little bit with the setup, but to come in, keep his head down and pull out a podium, I'd take that as a really good result from Revel there.
Yeah, absolutely lock that one in. For Silver tier, I'd put my foot forward for Mulnix. I think he was well in that battle as well. Made a good representation of the Silver tier. Grafe, despite being quite far ahead, had quite an easier ride once the race settled in. Mulnix had to come home for the same adversity that Revel did, so I would put forward Mulnix unless you've got an alternate suggestion.
I mean, we did say
or Heyman's maybe.
Battles. Yeah, Heyman's as well. Say good few battles on track with Heyman's as well. So Mulnix as well. Good fight, Silver tier. Giving the pros a run for their money. Obviously, no one's got a yield for a tiered system. It's all bragging rights on and off track. I mean, Mulnix probably does tip it over the edge for me. He did a great job. So race 1 and race 2, giving a good fight on track.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll lock in Mulnix for that one. We've only got 5 drivers to choose from in the AM tier. But I think out of all of those Llewellyn was involved in an incident. Jabinho got a drive through, and Cop and Serpentine didn't finish the race. So realistically, between Coppens and Townsend, and I believe Townsend got involved in an incident as well, which dropped him quite far down. So by process of elimination, I'd have to give it to Coppens.
Yeah, well, I mean, so it's unfortunate for Jabinho to get the drive through. It is a really tough track. To fight back from where he was to still possibly take P2 in class, possibly even P1, depending on how obviously the stewards review the incident. I'm kind of leaning towards him, but say just by default, I mean, it's got to be Coppens. I mean, he kept his head down, good few little battles from what we saw. I mean, apart from the end, I think where he was doing a bit of WRC on a gravel track.
So, yeah, we're going to look to see if we can get a few drivers into chat to us. So, bear with us. We'll try and get some people in. We'll try Bonham first.
Bonham's normally quick to get in the party after a race.
Just remind me, what's his name?
Like Johnny B. Banging, I believe, on PlayStation.
Yeah, there we go. So we'll get our race winner in first, and we'll see who else we can add in after that. It'd be great to get Revel in as well. Obviously, I think if I had to pick out the three that we gave, I'd probably call Revel our overall driver of the day, with how much he had to go through.
I mean, just for streaming purposes, we probably shouldn't get him in the party after having that much to endure for 60 minutes between a split of 20 minutes and 40 minutes due to profanity reasons that will not be repeated. We won't get him in for the after race interview, guys. So just whilst we are waiting for some of the drivers to hopefully respond to us to get an after race interview, we're just going to see where we are next week on the calendar. So after COTA we stay on American soil and we hoppity skippity jump all the way to Indianapolis next week.
Ooh. Oh. I think that maybe Bonham is offline.
Very quick. Just as quick as he is on track.
I've just put an open invitation out here now. Oh, Mr. Gedman wants to jump in.
Uh-oh, we got to behave now.
Everybody on your best behaviour.
Yeah, no barriers were harmed on the stream or in the race, guys. Remember that.
So as we wait for Gedman to come and join the party, thank you all so much for joining us on this evening. Hopefully you've enjoyed all your time. You'll be still willing to go give us a share, share the channel, share this individual stream if that's what you've enjoyed, and you can come and watch it back and then come and enjoy some more racing next week. So Bonham sends his apologies. He would have joined, but he had to run off straight away this evening. He might have actually ran down to the track in person to celebrate.
Yeah, he quickly ran and jumped on the podium, F1 style. Probably knocked over his trophy like Lando did. But here we are. Mr. Gedman has joined the party, buddy. I mean, no barriers were harmed in the race. I mean, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
It was only my pride and my poor, gorgeous, blood red and plus yellow Bentley this evening that took it.
I mean, you were really in the wars today.
I was doing so well. I think I was in 12th place in race 1. And then it was a bit of hard racing, really. Clayton was on my case for about 3 or 4 laps, and then he got a better exit. He had a different trajectory than me, and he spun me, and I lost it and went back to 24th.
Yeah, and
I'm not even fussed about that. Genuinely, I've already spoke to him, and I've told him not to worry. It's just one of those things. Very difficult section of the track for the twos to try and get out as quick as we can, and he just got the quicker exit.
Yeah, I mean, we got a very good stationary camera from you sitting there on that apex. We got to watch all the cars fly around.
So I'm glad I wasn't live or anything on anyone's stream, because I was cussing and swearing for about 30 seconds solid. Then I could compose myself, and I think I finished maybe about 19th or something, 21st or something, I don't know.
I mean, you say that Bentley's blood red. I mean, it was like black and green by the time you obviously had your little incident, so...
Black and blue.
Yeah, definitely traded a bit of paint on that one, mate.
Don't listen to anything Gogs tells you when he comes in. Oh, hi Gogs, how we doing?
I mean, to be fair, we was speculating if he got on the podium, we'd all be forced to play WRC one night a week. And then when that drive-through came through, I think, oof, unlucky,
Saved.
mate. But thankfully, we haven't got to play WRC.
It was never a drive-through. That was never a drive-through.
I caught it on the stream watching you and Revel, and it was the softest limit I've ever seen.
Yeah, unfortunately, mainstream didn't catch it. I just flicked it as soon as I saw the drive-through pop up. But based on where we knew you were in the track, I can only presume it was very soft. I'll review it at some point and definitely have a look at that.
I'm not sure I can watch it again. Honestly, I had a 20-minute battle with Kyle Revel, and it was one of the best battles I've ever had, back and forth, and for it to go like that on the final lap, it was just heartbreaking. I think
You must have deserved
I've alerted my neighbours, put it that way.
So I've got to ask you about the move that he made on you, because it was quite unconventional place to overtake you into the final corner. No one really tried it this evening in either race, unless a major mistake was made. Was there any mistake made by you? Did you see it? Was it just you just didn't see it coming, or?
Yeah, oversteer on the final corner, the second to last corner, the big tank slapper. Had to lift off full opposite lock to catch it, to stop myself going over the track limits, because I already had 3 warnings. So I took that option, and I thought, I'll let him go up the inside, I'll try and undercut him back, the old switcheroo up the inside. I'd done that before earlier on in the race as well. I let him go down the inside into a different corner, and I got him again on the back straight. So that was the plan, use the Bentley's power, but it's not a long enough straight, unfortunately. It ended up stuck behind him, but I had the pace to stick with him, and I stuck with him, but that drive through at the end it's annoying, because on that last lap, coming down the back straight, I actually got him into that corner. I got down the inside from about 0.3 back, slowed the car right down.
We saw
on the
that.
apex, and I put the foot down, and the wheels just spun. No traction left at all. So it was fun. It was a good race. I really enjoyed the battle.
So
actually.
what I seemed to catch throughout the race was hardly anybody managed to make the around the outside move of turn 1 work. And I was just about to call it. I said Kyle was defended the inside admirably there. He's sent you out wide, and it looks like he's got the drive. And then all of a sudden, the camera clips to turn 2. I was like, oh my god, he's got his nose ahead. Kyle was going to get the apex for turn 3, and I think you conceded there. But for a moment, I thought, wow, is Gog's actually going to get this done and be the only person all night to make the move stick around on the outside of turn 1?
I made a move stick on the outside of turn 2 tonight with Richings. I was battling with him for most of it on race 2. You must have missed that. That's fine, don't worry about it. I'll just
no, we flick back that every now and again.
It's one of those, like, if I stuck with it, it might have worked, but 3 track warnings, 2 cars side by side, running fourth. Do you want to risk that through the SE side by side? I took the safe option. I could have done it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially you're getting promoted anyway. Sharp had already been demoted due to another track limits drive through. Looks like you almost had that in the bag.
Just bad luck. That's all it is. It's just one of those track specific. Any other track, that's not happening. It's just one of those things, unfortunately.
It's a difficult track to make overtakes on, to be fair, actually.
Yeah,
I think, to be fair, it is a difficult track for a car like the Bentley Barge, especially going through the S's. Like, you need a little quick, nimble car, and the fact you've got this great big Bentley Barge throwing its weight around it's fantastic to watch. But I couldn't dream of driving it. So fair play to both you lads for doing it for 60 minutes.
If you can follow somebody through the S's, you then get a great run down the hill into the hairpin and a long back straight. So if you can stick with someone, you get an amazing tow. It's about 0.5 of a second down that straight with the Bentley over the Ferrari.
But then obviously you've got the challenge of it's essentially a hairpin that you're coming into, and all the advantages you've gained, you start slipping it away unless you've managed to get quite far ahead. It just seems that
final sector. But if you hug that every apex from that point, you usually are able to defend to the end of the lap.
Yeah.
I wasn't because I made a big mistake.
So one for Mr. Brown, but just I think you may have been watching ahead of you for it. There was an incident going into turn 12 at the end of the straight. Llewellyn seemed to tap through Mornix and Revel, which what actually invited you into that battle for the final third of the race. Did you see it? Were you in viewing of it?
If I talk, I'll be in big trouble, so I prefer not to speak.
Just talk us through your relief of the seas parting.
I did not understand why Revel had stopped. It did not look like he was involved. But he may have been. He was just a little bit further ahead. But it looked like maybe just Llewellyn, I think it was Llewellyn, just maybe in the toe of Milnix, just didn't get the same level of downforce when he started braking. So he's braked at his normal point, but having that toe, he's had less wind resistance and just went straight into it. Maybe just a slight nudge. I don't know how big a crash it was.
It didn't look that big.
Quite hefty. It took 2 cars off track.
Yeah, but then again, it could have been Milnix braked early. I don't know. I didn't see it.
It definitely needs some reviewing, but it was probably one of the things that swung the outcome of the race the biggest. It was probably one of the biggest flashpoints of the race. When
it helped me. It really helped me a lot.
It definitely did.
But I mean, to be fair though, depending on how it is reviewed, obviously that could be the make or break point for Llewellyn winning the AM tier tonight, considering that incident, or whether he'll then say get them penalised and it'll then promote Gabino to win.
Gabino to win from having a drive through himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stewards will need to have a look at it. I'm going to have to now abstain after giving my comments on it. Assuming there is a stewards inquiry at it, again,
I would strongly assume so. If it was me, I definitely would be.
Okay.
But that's just one man's opinion.
I'm following my namesake. I'm being very political here. I will not give an answer either way. Anyway, I'm going to have to head, guys. Thank you very much for tonight.
Can't bait these admins into anything apart from track limits.
No comment. It's good to know where they are now for Tuesday, put it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, guys. Thanks very much. I'll catch you
very
later.
much.
No worries, mate. Have a good night.
Listen, I'll catch you later as well, guys. I just wanted to make sure you had someone coming in.
Yeah, thank you so much for sticking around and giving us some feedback from the driver's seat.
No worries, cool. Have a good one, guys. And again, as always, comms are great. I'll be watching them tonight, and we know you've got a new setup going forward after tonight. So I've messaged you both on the whole particulars regarding that.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we'll
catch you later on, boys.
Right.
Yeah, take it easy, mate.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye now. So just signing off. Thank you everybody for joining us, from me and from Owen. It's been a wonderful evening. There's been some great battles, especially at the sharp end. Obviously there will be incidents to review, so you may be informing you of some classification updates at the start of next week's stream. But yeah, thank you all for sticking around, dropping the comments, likes, shares, and yeah, get involved. Love to see you. Have a good evening, guys.
Yeah, take care, guys. Good night.